Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ERA's monthly direction seminar. Before we dive in, here's a quick shout out. If you haven't already, sign up as an ERA VIP. As a VIP, you will enjoy priority invites to exclusive ERA seminars like this one, early access to the latest property insights and tools, special perks curated for our VIP community. Plus, every month, 10 lucky VIPs stand to win $1,000 in travel dollars redeemable across 12 exciting destinations in the Asia-Pacific region. Sign up now at vip.era.com.sg and be part of our growing ERA VIP community. In today's shifting market, hesitation can mean missing out. New launches are drawing crowds and million-dollar HDBs are back in the headlines. So, what's the smart move now? In this timely session, we will unpack what's fueling the surge in new launches and high-value HDBs, how to read market signals and separate noise from trend, and of course, how to decide if it's time to buy, upgrade, or wait it out. Now, before we begin, please note, while every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the information shared today, ERA accepts no responsibility for any loss or inconvenience caused by errors or omissions. The insights, opinions, and examples presented are for informational and educational purpose only. As the property market is dynamic, we strongly encourage you to consult a trusted ERA advisor before making any property-related decisions. Let me now introduce our speaker, Mr. Marcus Chu, CEO of ERA Singapore, ERA Asia Pacific, and APAC Realty. With nearly 30 years of experience in real estate, Marcus has played a key role in shaping ERA's growth across the region. A visionary leader and seasoned investor, he brings unparalleled insights into the evolving property landscape. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Marcus Chu to kickstart today's seminar.
Hi guys, and welcome to another series of Monthly Direction, your property guide by ERA. This is Marcus Chu, ERA CEO, and it is my pleasure to share with you market insights on the ground and the market intelligence that we have analyzed for all you guys by our research team. So today, the topic is known as new launches and HDB on the rise. The signs that you must watch out. What are the global concerns that is actually on the rise? To me, I think global uncertainty is certainly on the rise. And this global uncertainty has actually caused a lot of conflict internationally. And what this means that economy of all the countries in the world will be on the drop, or this uncertainty will make certain countries attractive for foreign investments. Actually, Singapore can thrive in a very fragmented global economy. And the reason is because in Singapore, we have a very stable government and a business-friendly environment that will continue to help Singapore attract foreign investments and increase in populations. So said Morgan Stanley analysts, and by the way, Morgan Stanley is our majority shareholder of APAC Realty, and they say that the next step forward, we believe, will be wealth creation, building upon Singapore's established brand and economic success to further grow the country's capital and global financial standing. So, as you can see, it's all about the end result, which is wealth creation. That is so attractive here in Singapore as a safe haven in the midst of all global uncertainty. So when there's global uncertainty, doesn't mean it will affect the whole world. In fact, it makes Singapore more attractive. And this is evidence that there is a continuous increase in residents, which means increase in population in Singapore. So over the last 15 years, this national populations and talent divisions analytics shows that the new citizens in Singapore has been constantly on the rise to about 23,000 new citizens in the year 2023. And that is a real significant rise from 19,000 plus back in 2009. And at the same time, the Singapore permanent residents is standing at 34,000 plus, rising from about 29,000. So with the increasing new SPR and citizen, we can see that the economy has been boosted with more people coming to work, live and play in Singapore. And talking about live, there is almost 55,000 people in total per year that needs a home. And assuming each household is 3 person, then 18,000 new homes are required for sales or lease for this new population. So that brings me to the high demands of home in Singapore, particularly new launches. So new launches is on the rise. Question is why? Why new launches is on the rise? Like what Morgan Stanley research team have analyzed, they say it's about wealth creation that makes Singapore an attractive destination. So is there wealth creation in new launches? Certainly there is. If you take a look at the statistics that we have drawn all the way from 2017 till now, first half of 2025, the average profit that is made from buying and selling of new homes for units that is more than 3 years and up to 4 years sales transaction, we can see a rising sales proceeds of 43,000 plus in 2017 to first half 2025 of more than $250,000. That's 267,000. So there has been an increasing wealth creation effect in the new home segment. Actually, those who sold their new homes by holding on to it from 4 to 5 years have seen a cash proceeds of 24,000 plus all the way to 318,000. So what this means is there's really a wealth creation effect in new home transactions. Well, what about the recent SST holding period change to 4 years holding period? So it really didn't deter the number of people that is flooding the show flats on all the new launches. As you can see from this picture here, there's really a lot of people coming for new launch preview. And do these people convert to transactions? Answer is yes. There was so strong take-up rates of recent new launches after 4th July 2025 new policies on SSD for 4 years holding period. 8 projects launched, 3,099 units were sold, and that represents a take-up rate of 77%. Actually, if you will recall, just a few days ago, over Saturday weekend, projects such as Springleaf Residences have witnessed as high as close to 94% units sold for the whole project, almost 1,000 units, and 94% sold is really a resounding success. And what this means is that there is a very strong underlying demand for new launches. So in OCR, we have witnessed all these launches from Springleaf Residence to Canberra Crescent Residences and also Autoplace EC all have witnessed great take-ups. Let's talk about RCR. RCR, we have also witnessed another awesome take-up in Linden Woods, as high as currently 97%. And this is just within 2 months of project launch. And there is also prominent peak, which is at River Valley. It was also magnificently sold at 56% at an average price of 3,343 per square foot in RCR region, which is even higher than the price that we have seen for River Green, averaging 3,130 per square foot in CCR. And many people feel that CCR may not be as easy sales as per RCR and OCR. Reason being CCR is deemed like the more expensive places. But seriously, look at this price in River Green. It's averaging 3,001, is a notch below RCR prominent peak at 3,003. That explains why the take-up rate is so fantastic. All right, and almost 88% sold right now. Right, there's also other projects like the 999 leasehold Robinson Optus that witnessed 44% sold, and Upper House at Orchard Boulevard witnessed 64% take-up rate. And I would say that the new policies of extended 4-year SSD has really not impact the current market demand for new launches. It's fantastic result. All right, let's take a look at a summary of first half 2025 new launches. The strong sales momentum have actually started in fourth quarter 2024 when developers got all the approvals or their launches. There was a surge in new launch back then in fourth quarter 2024. And this sales momentum actually snowballed into first half 2025 this year. So from the Ori all the way to Arena East Residences, these are all the projects that was introduced into the market in first half 2025. And for less than half a year, in fact, there are projects that is already sold out, 100% sold. No more units available. The rest are all very good take-up rate, and most of them close to their fully sold positions. What about second half of this year? So right now, we are here. So from second half, from W Residences all the way to Springleaf Residence, these are all the units sold to date, and it's only 2 months. So what is coming is here. All right, from this month in August all the way to end of the year, we will witness another 6 more new project launch. So in total, 2025 will see more than 12,600 unit new homes launches, and we are currently already launched about 10,000 units over 20 projects. So expect to see more project launch in 2025, about 6 projects in the pipeline amounting to be about 2,006 units. So right now, I can safely say that 2025 will witness more than 10,000 units of new launches. And this actually represents 4 years high as compared to 2021, which have exceeded 10,000, 2020 exceeded 10,000, and 2019 exceeded 10,000. Of course, this means high sales take-up rate as well. Because over the years, what we have witnessed is whenever there is more new launches, there is also more sales performance. Okay, so 2025, we are here. The gray bar represents the first half units launch and also the second half unit launch. So first half, second half. This is launch unit. And the brown bar represents the first half units sold and second half units sold. This is first half and the coming second half, as we forecast to be very close to the number of unit launch. And why do I say that? Because usually whatever that is launched will be sold. And their numbers are quite close. Okay? So every single year, if we were to analyze, it really shows that whatever that is launched in the market is equals to whatever that is sold. And even if it's not fully absorbed and sold, the following year, it will be sold. So as you can see here, whenever there is high number of launches, there will be high sales volume. And if I go back to my previous slides, this is what I meant. Anytime when we witness that the market has more than 10,000 units of new launch sales, there is a property boom. So 10,000 unit launch, equivalent to almost 10,000 units. So to me, it's a property boom. But however, if the number of launches is hovering right around 5,000, half of 10,000, then there is something like a trough, okay, which we have witnessed post-COVID from 2022 to 2024. Why so? Because there was a sudden change in the approval period that is given by the Controller of Housing post-COVID. So there used to be a time frame of only 6 months after a developer secured a government land sale site for them to launch a new projects. Right now, the approval time can be extended to a year or even more. So what this means is because of that delay in project launch, over the last 3 years before 2025, there was a slowdown in new launches. And that explains why over the last 3 years, there was a trough. And right now, we are in boom time. All right, boom time means more than 10,000 unit launch, also more than 10,000 unit close for the year. So what about 2026 and 2027, which is, will this phenomenon continue to snowball into the next 1 and 2 years? Let's take a look at the numbers that is presented by the recent 2024 and 2025 government land sales. So these are all the land sales site that is awarded to the respective developer. All right, and this government land sales was actually transacted in this year and last year, 2024 and 2025. And like I said, the Controller of Housing takes about a year to approve a site, meaning the new launch will be a year from 2024 and 2025. So the upcoming launches in 2026 will be from all these government land sale sites that is already awarded to the respective developer. And this represents a total number of units of close to 10,000. So coming from the same perspective of what happens over the past few years, 2026 will be another boom year. Ahead of us, we already forecast that 2026 will be another boom year for new homes. And why new homes? Because it is a platform for wealth creation. And moving on to 2027, same thing. The number of units that will be launched will be from the upcoming government land sale sites. And as we refer to the second half 2025 government land sales list, these are all that will be on tender. Whether is it launch or close, the dates are all there. These will represent the new launch list in 2027. And talking about the pattern that we observe from the government land sales list, we feel that there is a continuous high level of government land sales expected to continue in 2026 and 2027. So the first half 2026 list that will be released towards the end of this year is expected to be a high level or high number of units that will be offered for developer. So that also means that 2026 and 2027 will witness more than 10,000 units of new launches. What does this mean? High sales volume is expected to be seen in the new home market over the next 2 years, at least. So I've just explained to you about the global uncertainty on the rise. Doesn't mean that it's all bad. Actually, it makes Singapore a more attractive destination for foreign direct investments and also increase in populations. Right here because of its safe haven, very well governance positioned, and at the same time, a wealth creation destination. So I've also explained to you that this year and over the next 2 years, it will be booming new home market that will drive the whole home markets. And right now, I will be explaining to you the direction or the signal that shows us the direction that it is going to be a booming private housing market in Singapore. So 3 signals that I'll be sharing with you briefly is number 1, strong developer demands for all the government land sites that will be launching. Number 2, spillover demands from the HDB market. And number 3, the changing HDB policies. Example, the most recent verse. So let's begin with signal number 1 that will point us towards a booming private home market is the strong developers' demand for land. So as we know, developer need to have land in order to build new condos. So where do the land come from? It comes from en bloc sales, or it also can come from government land sales. But majority is from government land sales. So it is important for us to analyze on the government land sales that was concluded in this year 2025. So these are all the land sites that is sold in 2025 so far. They are mostly in OCR and RCR. Okay? So as you can see, all these represents a 4.6 number of bidders per project size. So that is an average 4.6 bidder. Okay? So does it means that developer is hungry for land size for average 4.6 bids per site? The answer is a resounding yes. So do you know that 4.6 represents BTO first-timer for the BTO flats? So first-timer, oversubscription is about 4 to 5 times. So for government land sales, it's also about 4 to 5 times. It means that developer is as hungry as first-timer going for their BTO flat. So what this means is every site is an opportunity for developer to build new homes. And because of the high take-up rates that we have seen in 2025, this phenomena means that this developer need to replenish their land bank. All right, moving on to 2025, 2026, and 2027. So if there are not enough land bank, how are they going to be a developer? So they have to continue to buy land from the government. So as long as developer is hungry for land site, it means that there is a desire to acquire that land site. And that also means that the land price won't be cheap. Because in order for developer to secure that land bid, they have to offer a bid that is higher than the rest. They know that there is about 4 to 5 bidder for that site. In order to gain that position in that site, you have to bid higher price. So that explains that 2024 and 2025 land bids has been rising. And that correspondingly means that the future launch price moving on 1 year later in 2025 and 2026 will also be rising. So land cost rising, new launch price will be rising. Otherwise, you just take a look here. These are all CCR land sites. This is RCR land sites, and all these are OCR land sites. And all these are EC land sites, and all of them are in OCR. Okay, just take a look at the land price, which is shaded by green color in CCR. They are on the rise. And just look at the RCR land price. all right, they are also on the rise. And OCR land price, they are obviously on the rise. And even EC land price is on the rise. Well, like I said, if you are not aggressive in bidding for the land side, you will not be increasing on the land cost. So if you are aggressive to bid for land side, you increase the land cost. So as you can see, the land cost across the regions has been rising, including even executive condo. And what this means to the launch price, as you can see, whatever that is launched, that is shaded in the full color, is all on the rise in CCR. So the coming CCR launches, we will be expecting higher launch price. Similarly, for RCR, we see a variety of launch price, okay? They are all on the rise. And coming RCR launch price, okay, they are also sustainability on the rise. Okay, similarly for OCR that is already launched and upcoming OCR launch price and also EC launch price. Okay, interestingly, from this chart here, we can actually derive on the benchmark prices on new home launches. So for OCR, I just put $2,000. I just draw a line that's $2,000 here, and I can see that at $2,000 mark is certainly a benchmark price for all OCR new launch. And EC is very close to $2,000 per square foot now. So among all the OCR new launch, the one that seems like below $2,000 per square foot is like Canberra Crescent Residences. Okay, it's still hovering around $2,000 per square foot. All right, the rest have all crossed, and even some cross over to 2005 PSF on launch price. So to me, 2005 benchmark price is a representations launch price for RCR. So 2005 and above. So anything that is in C 2005 and above, RCR is here. Okay. Certainly, there are many that have launched above 2005 per square foot. So some of the RCR average launch price that is still below 2005 per square foot, all right, those projects that is already launched is like Bloomsbury Residences and also Nava Grove. Seems like they are hovering around that 2005 per square foot. What about CCR? The benchmark price, I've just put here $3,000 per square foot and I draw a line. All of the new CCR home price should be launching above $3,000 per square foot. So very interesting. I've just shown you some opportunity here that you can derive from the rising launch prices, but some pockets of opportunity can be found in new launches that's still below that benchmark prices of $2,000, $2,005, and $3,000 respectively for OCR, RCR, and CCR projects. So in a nutshell, aggressive developer bid for government land sales will drive higher land costs in the current year. And moving on to next year new launch, it will be means higher launch price in 2026. So signal number one, pointing towards the booming housing market at higher launch price. Signal number two is spillover demands from the strong HDB market. So actually, how strong is HDB market? I would say that HDB market actually have a surge in its resale prices based on a few very distinct reasons. All right, number one, it's high subsidy clawback for the BTO for prime and plus flat. So subsidy clawback for prime flats have actually reached 11 to 12% of future resale prices, having needing to stay for 10 years. And so any potential BTO homes buyer may not want to go for that prime and plus flat. They may want to go for that standard flat or even turn to resale flats with fewer restrictions. So that's drive the demand in the HDB resale market, all right, even for first-timer. So that's explain point number one, all right. the surge in HDB resale flats transactions. And point number 2 is higher condo price actually witness HDB seller holding out for higher resale prices. So, HDB upgraders with the intention to upgrade to condos, be it new condos or resale condo, they know that private home price have actually gap up. So in order for them to fulfill that dreams home of private property, they need to sell at a higher resale price. So the pricing of HDB resale listings have also gap up. So also, we know that some of the buyers who already priced out from the private homes market, they are also wanting to upgrade to a bigger HDB resale flat. And they are willing to pay for more for that HDB resale flat rather than pay for much more for a private resale or new condos. So what this means again is the surge in HDB resale volume. And thirdly, some buyers are willing to buy centrally located, even older flats in the hope of SERS. All right. So what does SERS mean? It's the selective en bloc redevelopment scheme offered by HDB for older flats. Actually, some buyers are willing to pay more for this centrally located home, despite a lower lease, of course, with the hope that this flats is eligible for SERS in the future. So point number 3 also drive HDB resale flats demand, particularly the older centrally located homes. And all these costs created an effect of a new peak in HDB resale price. Right now, the HDB resale price index have reached a record of 202.9. All right, if we were to look back all the way to quarter 2 2022, quarter 2 2025 witnessed a big significant growth from 163 all the way to 202. So for the rise of the resale price, okay, we see a steady increase of $1 million flats. So once again, all right, in the beginning 2023 until July 2025, the number of $1 million flats have actually grew from about 40 units in 1 month to more than 160 units in 1 month, 4 times more. All right, and a very consistent resale transaction island-wide, in between per month transactions of close to 2,000 to 3,000 units per month, which means annual resale transactions at least 24,000 or all the way to 30,000 units. So this rising number of $1 million flats transaction, coupled with very consistent overall HDB resale transactions, have actually means that there is a strong upgrader pool that demands for private housing. And where do they come from? And how are they able to afford the high private home price? Because they are selling their HDB flats at a higher resale proceeds. And how come there is a higher resale proceeds? Is because there is a high demand for HDB resale flats. So the third signal that I will be explaining to you that will be pointing to a booming private housing market is the changing HDB policy. So Earlier on, I talked about SIRS. Right now, I'm going to talk about VERS. So, VERS, in short for Voluntary En Bloc Redevelopment Scheme, may slow down HDB resale price gain, and owner may find it more difficult to move up to private housing in time to come. You see, why there is an introduction of voluntary en bloc redevelopment scheme in place of SIRS is that there is an increasing number of HDB resale flat that is age 40 or older. In fact, it will balloon to almost 500,000 by the year 2030. And if we look at 5 years ago, this number is only slightly above 200,000. So it's more than doubled in the next 10 years from 2020 for the number of older flats, 40 years or older flats. So the remaining lease is about half of the 99 years. So it's like 50 years remaining lease. So this make up a whoopee 40% of the overall HDB flats inventory. So you know right now the number of HDB flats in Singapore island-wide is about 1.1 million. So it's a 40% means almost 500,000 of HDB flats in Singapore is more than 40 years. Okay, so it's more than half is old flats. So to HDB, it's not financially sustainable to offer SIRS to every single old flat. In fact, from what we know, is that the SIRS program may be discontinued and replaced totally by VERS. So instead of SIRS, the government will instead use VERS, all right? And this allows flat owners to collectively sell their homes for redevelopment in exchange for lower compensation as compared to SIRS. So government was still working on this framework for VERS at the moment. All right, but the news is already out. And this VERS program will only begin in early 2020. So with this news, we analyze what is the pro and cons. Okay, the advantage, the pro, is that owner can decide if they want to voluntarily sell their flats. They can also have active participation of rejuvenating the precincts that they live in and the chance to get some compensations before their older HDB flat lose all its value. What about the disadvantage, the cons? Lower compensations than SIRS, low success rate as it may require majority owner consent, and retirees may find it difficult to secure a loan for their next flats. And also difficulties in relocating a large precincts of homeowner at one time. And at the same time, the pace of resale homes price growth may slow as buyer grow concerned about potentially overpaying for flats right now that is without SIRS. So what this means is VERS to replace SIRS will have an effect that there is lower compensation. There is an effect that older HDB flats will see limited price growth moving forward. So if you are a HDB homeowner here, how do you decide if now is the right time for you to do something? Whether to sell away your HDB flats and to buy an upgrade, or just simply don't do anything and wait it out. Okay, let me explain to you. Even if you are status quo, the market is moving and there is a lot of supply of HDB coming out into the HDB market. So what's the purpose of HDB launching more BTO flats. As we can see over the news media, most recently, there are 55,600 BTO flats to be launched for the rest of 2025 this year, all the way to 2027. All right, this is headline news, okay, by our M&D minister. So, what is the purpose of launching so many new flats? There is more than 120,000 since this decade, from 2021 until now. All right, is because of this purpose: ensure affordable housing. So, ensure affordable housing is what HDB wanted. So, this means that BTO launch will cause a BTO supply glut. Means with more supply, the intention is more affordable housing. And what is the effect? The effect is decelerate HDB resale flat price growth over the mid to longer term. So we know the purpose of the Housing Development Board is for affordable housing. It's a good thing. Okay, but if we look at it in totality, all right, at least for the last 2 decades, there is a pattern in the HDB resale price index. Let me show you. So back in the early 2010, HDB has introduced as high as 115,000 new BTO flats. And that lasts for a period of almost 5 years, 2011 all the way to 2015. And currently in this decade, starting from 2021 all the way until 2027, HDB have also announced that they will be introducing 120,000 new BTO flats. So if we look at this decade and the previous decade, the policies of a number of BTO flats is quite similar, isn't it? Okay, so what about in the future? All right, so whatever BTO that is launched, there will come a day when all these flats will reach its minimum occupation period, in short, MOP. In the last decade, the MOP of all BTO flats is 5 years. But right now, the MOP for BTO flats, namely standard, prime, and plus, will be 5 years, 10 years, and 10 years respectively. So a bit different. But if we look at the last decade, for those flats that is launched between 2011 to 2015, this 115,000 flats received its MOP sometime in 2019 all the way to 2023. So during this period of time, there is huge MOP supply. Okay, so what about this decade? This 120,000 flat, if we were to look forward, in the next 5 to 10 years' time, the 120,000 BTO flats MOP dates will spread from 5 years later and 10 years later. So it's not all come together 5 years later, it will spread. Okay, so it will be MOP for standard flat between 2030 all the way to 2033, and for plus and prime flat, the MOP period is about 2035 all the way to 2039. And coincidentally, this also fall within the period of verse starts in 2030. So what will be the price pattern? Okay, so let's take a look back again. A decade ago, HDB price index actually climbed to a peak back then when the introduction of 115,000 new flats are felt by the market. So it comes to a peak because more demands goes to the BTO flats. Probably that affects on the resale price of HDB flats. And that explains a decline of HDB resale price index by as much as minus 12.1% all the way from 21.3 to fourth quarter 21.9, which is just before COVID-19 hits. So this point where it is the lowest of the HDB price index in recent years is at the midst of the huge MOP HDB supply. So at this point, guess what? There is a lot of very attractive, highly anticipated MOP flats coming onto the market for genuine home upgraders and buyers to buy. And that increase in demand have actually spiked HDB resale price all the way up until now. In 2025, we actually reach a record price for HDB resale price. So once again, we are in the midst of the introduction of huge BTO supply of more than 120,000 new flats. And I'm guessing, will history repeat again? Like a reenactment of what happens over the last decade when there was a huge number of BTO flats launched, the HDB resale price index may be hit because of interest drawing towards BTO flats. Could that explain why there was a drop in HDB resale transactions? And could it also mean that HDB resale price index will start to deteriorate when there is no exciting MOP flats that will be coming on stream for some time? And for how long? Until probably 2030, when we see the first batch of standard flats going on MOP. So there will reach a point where we feel that the interest will be back on the new 5 years MOP flats, all right, before price continue to increase moderately over the years to come. And not forgetting, HDB resale price index is a composite of prices that makes up in the new MOP flats and also on the older flats. So the past transactions of million-dollar flats on old flats may not be practical in the years to come because more than 40% of flats is more than 40 years. And when VERS kicks in 2030, this will certainly create pressure on the price rise of HDB resale flats. So in a nutshell, in the mid to long term, we will see some resistance in the rise of HDB price and at the same time, possible decline in HDB resale flats price. So for all HDB owner here, should you wait for upgrading to a private home? To me, in a booming housing market, waiting out is not a good strategy. It often leads to missed opportunities. So there are actually still a lot of interesting opportunity right there, particularly new launches in the market right now that is presenting right in front of you. And let me show you the upcoming new launches previews that is presented in the market. So these are all the new launches that is coming up in the market. All right. And these are all the very exciting locations and the developer. All right. The tenure of the projects, the number of units. These are the preview dates and also the booking dates. So they are all opportunity right in front of you now. So if you are thinking of upgrading, this is the time where you should be in the market and not out of the market. Because right now, we are living in a booming private residential market. So if you love what you hear from me in monthly directions, in ERA, we have a research and market intelligence teams that provides you with very informative analytics that what I've just explained to you. And we are also making this information available in our ERA blogs, where we explore current issues shaping property market. So if you are interested to find out more about property insights, scan on this QR code to find out more about the current property market insights. So having good and reliable source of market intelligence will help you make good sense of current issues that affect property market. And I certainly is confident that ERA blogs will present to you solutions to your inquiries of what's happening in the market. So with that ends ERA's monthly directions, a guide for your property needs. So thank you. Please leave us a feedback and have a good time.
Thank you, Marcus, for your invaluable insights. If you would like to explore the opportunities discussed today, our ERA trusted advisors are here to help. And before we go, don't forget to join us as an ERA VIP. As a VIP, you will enjoy priority access to future seminars, market insights, and exclusive giveaways. And remember, 10 lucky VIPs win $1,000 in travel dollars every month. Sign up now at vip.era.com.sg. Stay connected with us on ERA's social media channels, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Monthly Direction seminar. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.